The Sentencing Council, which is a government body which sets recommendations for fines, has recently consulted on new fines for levels of penalty for corporate manslaughter and for health and safety offences. Fines for health and safety offences have been for a long time related to the type of offence that's being committed, how serious it is, the level of damage that's being caused, and of course the wherewithal of the organisation. And the more blatant the failure, the more serious the fines are. Now, typically under health and safety law, fines in the courts have been for larger organisations in the hundreds of thousands, occasionally in the millions. The Sentencing Council, which is a government body which recommends levels of fines, has recently consulted on a new range of fines for both manslaughter and health and safety offences. These guidelines suggest a real step change in the levels of fines for health and safety offences in corporate manslaughter prosecutions. And for large organisations, the level of fines being suggested are in the order of up to £20 million for a large organisation for corporate manslaughter, and in the range 2.7 to £10 million for serious health and safety offences. Even for micro-organisations with a turnover of less than 2 million, fines of up to £800,000 for health and safety offences and into the millions for corporate manslaughter are being suggested. So these are really a step change in the level of fines that organisations may expect in the future, particularly if there are serious health and safety offences which could have given rise to significant problems. And there doesn't need to have been an actual accident in these cases, certainly not for health and safety offences. It can be taken into account of what was the potential for an accident or serious incident. So if there were poor practices which could have killed someone, then the fines could be really very substantial indeed. And for large organisations, the guidelines relate to companies with a turnover of above 50 million. Of course, some companies have a turnover very greatly in excess of 50 million, and the guidelines suggest that even the top level of fines may therefore not be high enough. These levels of fines could be actually threatening to the existence of the organisation and its reputation. There is suggestions for large organisations with a high level of culpability that fine levels of the entirety of their pre-tax profit should be considered. And when you're thinking of some very large organisations having profit levels of hundreds of millions of pounds, then we could see fines in the same arena as for financial impropriety in the city, for example.